Thank you for joining us, Bright.
It's great to be here.
It seems to me that you are one busy man during this festival. We've seen you as pianist, composer in residence, conductor, teacher. How are you managing all of this, and what's the best part of it for you?
Well, I think everybody works very, very hard here, including the 13-year-olds who has never played in orchestra. And once you're here, you were thrown into this treatment as you are professional players, musicians. And you felt, I remember when I was first time at Tanglewood, and it felt like that, I could never live through tomorrow. How could I learn that so many notes and so many music and play under pressure because of these professionals, the teachers, and at the case of Tanglewood, the critics and the New York Times and the Boston Globes, critics were there, and what do I do? But you live through, and hopefully you thrive under pressure, and at the end of the 5 weeks, you become a different musician. So that's really thrilled. So now I'm here. Working hard is nothing, but the treat I get, the reward I get is to working with these young students, and they are, from age 13, very inexperienced, to a little bit more experienced, 18, 19-year-old college students, and they worked so hard, and they, the first rehearsal, they had no clue how to play, let alone my music, Tchaikovsky. And then by, time yesterday, we did a terrific performance. And at the moments, they sounded like the Vienna Philharmonic. So that is, my real treat here. And it's really exciting. And by the end of the week, you get so attached to these young musicians, you don't want to leave. You feel like it's sad to leave.
There's a lot of talk about fusion in your music, languages from, you came to America in 1982, a tough year, I imagine, for you, and the transition, working with Leonard Bernstein and others, you found a way to put voices together. And so what I saw happen in Carnegie Library the other night was the violinist and the cellist, and you were playing piano for this trio, they were learning your combined, your hybrid language. They had discovered how to play. And you gave a wonderful description from stage about this intonation downward, that it was a flirtatious sound. Can you talk about that before we listen to the first movement of it?
Yeah, well, the first movement is based on the folk song, kind of the style of a folk song. And in Qinghai province of China, which is northwestern part of China, it was used to be part of Tibet. It was called Eastern Tibet. Because the word we know in Chinese, we call Tibet, actually in Chinese literally meaning Western Tibet. So that part, when I lived there in the early 70s for 7 years, and most of the population was Tibetan. So I learned a lot about the folk song styles there. What happens is, the life was very rough. So and during the time in the summer, the weather was a little bit warmer, and people would get together sing folk songs and find dates. It was a little bit like the Brazilian carnivals, and people get married very young. So but during those 3 days you can go wild, and it's okay as long as after that you go back to where being good wife and husband. So people, it has a social function there, and so singing well is one of the most exciting things, because that's the way you get good dates, and so you have to learn how to sing well, and so everybody sings, young, old, men and women, and people from 4 years old sings. And one of the trademark was this downward at the end of the phrase. They do yeah. I'm not doing well. Yeah. It really being flirtatious, and everybody does that. So I used a few times in the first movement.